What's going on, guys? King Strats here, back another video on the channel. Today, it's chicken again. Yeah. We had to use the leftovers, and I forgot last night when I had about 20 ounces left. I bought a family pack of chicken thighs. Y'all know how I get down. Gotta get the poverty thing. So, I used some chimichurri, and I made chimichurri chicken. Usually it's used on steak, but I saw on the bottle, let me show you the bottle right here. This is the Walmart, great value. I gotta get rid of this too. I'm gonna start getting rid of stuff. On the bottom it says great on chicken and fish as well. I've never had any kind of chimichurri other than like the skirt steak. So I said, you know what, let's make kind of like a little meal that would be similar to what you would get when you got a skirt steak. But I said skirt steak. Somebody gonna say, I know. I said, we gonna let it ride. But I ain't had no fries or yuca. You ain't got no yuca in my house. It's a freestyle. So I actually use these broccoli cheddar cauliflower tots. Yes, I swear to you, broccoli cheddar cauliflower. That's a crazy mouthful. To be honest, they're no less calories than a normal tater tot, but you can get a lot of vegetables in there. So I had to throw some funny broccoli on here. So instead I got these little funny nuggets. But let me bring you through the chicken real quick. This is not going to take long at all. The chicken, obviously, I said I marinated with this chimichurri mix, a little bit of garlic. And I marinated that for about 24 hours because I had it in there since yesterday and I forgot. So I was like, oh, say less, I'm just cooking today. So that's what we did. Air fryer, 370, 30 minutes, and away we go. Put a little bit more of the marinade on the top because I wanted to just, have a little bit more on it. That don't even make sense. Does it make sense in your head? The rice is regular, just chili lime seasoning in the rice when we cooked it. And then, of course, at the end, I had to throw a little bit of eggs on there. So we cracked 2 eggs open. And let me show you my flip game real quick. Check this out. You like that? Nice with it. I haven't done that in God knows how long, but I decided to do it today. So that is the meal we have today. Got the broccoli cheddar tots with the rice and the egg. And I'm drooling. Chimichurri smells so good to me. Why do I do this when I smell things? And the chimichurri chicken. Let me eat some chicken real quick. Chicken King. Look. Air fryer makes it look like I actually had like the little grill like they make chicken. So why open like that? You ready? This should have a nice little. Look how juicy it be inside. What? And the flavor. I threw lemon pepper on there too, I forgot. It's probably in the footage before this, but I used orange pepper. That's what it is. I told you I'll be freestyling. This is not recipe material. This is just, not hear that? That's the juice. Oh man. I wish I could try my chicken. Let me give you one of these tots. These tots are the truth. Green Giant brand. If you like broccoli cheddar soup, it tastes like that in a tater tot. I used to live on these. I used to eat these all the time. And the OGs may notice, Green Giant has a brand of tot called corn tots. And they taste like corn nuggets. But they just disappeared off the face of the earth. I've been hunting them for like the last 2 years. Can't find them. If I ever find them, I'm buying the whole stock out. I apologize to anybody in advance. And give me the rice. Give me the rice. Oh, I didn't get a spoon, man. L. Sorry. Here. Y'all see that? Drool. And a little bit of that. I actually didn't leave the yolk running. I know some of y'all don't like runny yolk, but somewhere in my competitive nature, I decided I wanted to try flipping it. And when you flip it, the yolk's gonna cook because you're cooking on both sides now. But the flip game was on point, right? I just wanted to see if I still had it. I don't really get much practice. Wow. I feel like I have food ADD. Sometimes I'll be talking and I taste my that's why I be doing that. This is chicken. You can see these are like pieces because I tried to make the chicken uniform yesterday. So I have like little chicken chunks too. Normally I would put it in the freezer and then make it later. But I'm trying to be more efficient with my food. Ever since I had them hash browns, I told y'all, I made like 2 weeks ago for those who watch. I made something and I wanted to throw these like little potatoes in it that were frozen, but they were freezer burnt. And I was mad because I don't like wasting food. And I ruined my whole recipe by doing that. I don't like to waste food at all. If I buy it, I eat it. So when I made the family pack, I said, okay, I'm gonna marinate these and then maybe I'll throw them in the freezer. So I was like, nah, we don't see it done. That is my new like project kind of. I just want to be more, and I always am a person who prides myself on being efficient with things. I don't like wasted movement. Even when I work out, anything, I want to get things done not as quickly as possible, but as efficient as possible. So I want to get it done in the best possible manner to maximize my time, but still with the best quality. And I try to be efficient with everything. And I felt like, you know, for the last few weeks, I've basically been going from like room to room in my house and just trying to make everything more efficient. And I went to clean out my fridge. Like I just wanted to like scrub it down. I do that sporadically, but I wanted to do like a whole thing. So I took everything out of the freezer, you know, got the cleaning with the soap and the water and all that. And I noticed that I still had some stuff, and I was like, why am I doing this? I had like half jars of marinade in my fridge. Some of it I had to throw out because I don't want to have old marinade. You know, some of them have like a short shelf life depending on what's in it. Some of it has like, I had one in particular, I got annoyed. I forgot it was there. Because I have an entire drawer apart that has sauces and marinades in it. And it was Parmesan peppercorn. You can't eat old Parmesan because when it's a liquid, it has like a milk. You won't eat that. So I got annoyed at that. I'm trying to be more efficient. It's February, right? You're not watching this, it should be February 2nd. So about this time when people start to fall off on their New Year's resolution, let me know in the comments, did you make a New Year's resolution? I don't do that. For me, a piece of broccoli. Why does broccoli look like that? Look like, I don't like the way I look. Wait. Oh, you can see the inside here, look. See that? It's like broccoli cheddar soup, but like in here. W. I know a lot of people around New Year's, they kind of get like motivated. I know the real popular one, obviously, people talk about getting into shape. But I know there's other ones. People love the New Year's resolution. I've never been the type to make a New Year's resolution. I'm more of the type that if I want to change something, I'm not going to wait till another day. Like, you change it now. You know what I mean? So, my resolution was kind of like December 27th. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, I'm be more efficient with my stuff. You know, kind of get a little more structured with certain things. I started to, not these meals, I'll never stop freestyling. I find it fun. But with some of the other stuff I do, you know, the highest rated, you saw like a couple of days ago, I did the lowest rated. I'm going to try and incorporate a little more different things with that. But I've been writing more of it down. I don't usually write things down, but I want to get just a little more efficient in doing it. I know all the places in my head, but I want to have a little more structure to it. So I'd have a dry erase board. You can't see this over there. So I've been trying to get a little more structure with that. And anytime that I get an idea for a meal, now I'm going to write it down. So not everything is a freestyle. I don't want to go away from freestyle. That's my thing. But I do want to have a little bit more like planned meals to it. It's not my thing, but I think that I can make things a little better if I do plan sometimes, you know. Well, you can't plan this, man, you know what I'm saying? But for efficiency's sake, I'm gonna do it. So, it wasn't a resolution. I've touched on it, but there are a lot of stupid little motivational things I say to myself throughout the day. My favorite, and one is kind of just like a motto, which I've said already, is to win the day. And I just feel like people focus too much on 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 10 months from now, instead of focusing on the task at hand, and then you lose sight. I do think you should have some sort of structure to your life. You can't just go around like just randomly doing stuff. You should have some sort of, even if it's guidelines. Some people are a little more meticulous and they plan every detail. I found for me that doesn't work because not everything on a daily basis is going to go exactly to your plan. So I like to have more guidelines about things that I have to do on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes there are things that I don't want to do. You know, whether it be just like dumb stuff, like, okay, I'll give you one. You ever do laundry? Right? If you don't have like, if you go to laundry, you kind of got to get it. But for me, one of the things I used to be notorious about, I do my laundry, I put it in the dryer, and then I would leave it in the dryer for like another 5 days. Then by that time I had to do laundry again. It didn't pile up. And it annoyed me. So that's what I mean about being more efficient. And if I have to do something like that, whether it's making sure I get my laundry out before I go to bed, something that I tell myself a lot is see it done. And it's a weird way of saying just effing do it. But that's what it means. Like, you don't want to do something that you know is going to benefit you, just effing do it. Like, stop being lazy. This is what I tell myself. I'm not telling you. Stop being lazy. Get up. See it done. And the phrase "see it done" actually comes from one of my favorite TV shows ever that a lot of people might not have watched. And it was called Spartacus. It's not on anymore. It was only like 4 seasons. And the way they spoke in that show, they spoke in like a old English kind of, way. And that's what, like, they would say, see it done. And not to say being a gladiator was a cool thing. I mean, it kind of is. Not the outcome, but they lived such a lifestyle that they got up in sunrise and were just grinding, whether it was, working out, carrying big stones, or learning about different things. And I'm sure they didn't want to do a lot of it, but if they didn't, you get in the arena, right? Like the Coliseum, gladiators would fight to the death. So if you didn't, like, odds are, if you lose, you're no longer with us. So, not to say that everything for me is like that, but just that mentality of just get it done, just see it done. And that's why I tell myself all the time. It's something I've said even before, like, where I'm like, man, I don't want to record tonight because I don't really feel like cooking. I have those days a lot. One, I have to eat. It's not good to keep skipping meals every day, considering that I fast already. So I don't want to go like 2 days without eating. Sometimes I've done it. I'm just like, I don't feel like eating today. I know it sounds crazy to most people, but I don't live my life around food as crazy as it sounds. I know you see me on camera and you're like, that's all you do is eat. But I only eat for 30 minutes a day when I'm recording. Other than that, I'm doing something. And that's more for an efficiency thing. That is why I started fasting. I've probably said this like 10 or 11 times on here, but it's a commonly asked question. I don't fast for anything other than being efficient, and because I just feel like stopping to eat when I'm doing things throughout the day. Sometimes I don't want to, sometimes I'd forget, and it either caused me in my past to undereat or overeat. So now, when it's time to eat, I make sure I get what I have to get in, make sure I track everything I have to track, and then I don't have to think about it for the next 24 hours. That's why I do it. And it started in college. I stopped eating before practice. I hated playing or practicing on a full stomach. It was easy during camp, like summer, because your first practice is in the morning. I would literally just like grab a shake or something like that and go to practice. But during the season, your practice is usually like 3 or 4 o'clock. And I don't like waking up in the morning. So most of my classes started at about 11 or 12 o'clock. I'd be in class until from like 11 to like 4 or 5 o'clock. or 4 or 5 o'clock, until about 3 or 4 o'clock, and then I'd go to practice. And I just wouldn't eat lunch. It worked for me. I couldn't do 8 o'clock classes. I did it my freshman year in college, but I can go half the time. That's not a joke. Like, if you've been to college, and you might know, 8 a.m. class is just not the play. So, what most athletes do, a regular course load, usually if you're on track to graduate, you gotta take about 30 a year. Some people do more, I did more. What I would do is, in order to be a full-time student, you have to take 12, which is 4 classes, 3 times a week. So I would do that during the season. I would take 18 to 20 in the spring because I didn't have practice. And then in the summer, I would take another 10. And I just did that for, my undergrad was 3.5 years. I was done. I finished undergrad by the time I was 20. I was 20 when I graduated college. Undergrad. I was also 20 in my senior year of football. That's why I'd be talking about stuff. I'm like, man, I played like 20,000 years ago. But I'm really not, you know. Most of my friends graduated. They were 23, 24 years old. Which is kind of normal these days. Especially for football athletes, because most of us get a redshirt year. Meaning you don't play. You just go to school. So you actually have 5 years to play for. But I didn't redshirt. I was playing when I was 17. I didn't have time to adjust. Like, it was just go. And that's why I had issues when I was a freshman about going to class, because I was still a kid. I was dumb. You know? I had to grow up pretty fast. But for me, it was a huge adjustment. I graduated high school. I just turned 17. I turned 17 in March of my senior year. When my friends were driving, I couldn't drive yet. In New Jersey, you gotta be 17, not 16. So, same thing. I got to college. I'm playing as grown men official here. I'm 17. I couldn't even grow a goatee or nothing. Baby face. So, I kind of had to grow up fast. I was out of college, graduated. I'm 22. Most of my friends 24, 25. You went to grad school, you're 25. So, I always wanted to be efficient even back then. You know? And it feels like I stopped playing like 40 years ago. And it wasn't even that long ago. But chronologically it was. I was out with a full-time job by the time I was 23 years old. With 3 papers actually. But that's where the whole fasting thing came from. I just didn't want to waste time eating. And when I got out of college, I was like a bro scientist. Now you work out, but you be like, oh, you gotta eat like 5 meals a day. That's what they say. They say you can only eat, 30. I hear people ask me this all, but you can only eat 30 grams of protein in one sitting or your body won't process it. What do you think your body does with the rest of that food? What, it just stays there? I'm not trying to be that guy and that know-it-all. And I'm not trying to flex papers and degrees, because I feel like degrees are bullshit anyway. You learn more. I learned more out of college when it came to fitness. Even though I went to school for exercise science. With a nutrition emphasis. You learn more outside of school than you do in school. That whole thing, people telling you you can only eat 30 grams of protein in a sitting. It's not how the body works. Now, if you want to be efficient and you eat 6 times a day, you probably should break it up that much. But if you're eating once or twice every 24 hours, you don't have to do that. Now, but if I was eating all day, I wouldn't eat 100 grams of protein in the morning and then, 40 grams through the rest of the day. That'd be stupid. That's different. Whatever your meal frequency is, you should probably split it up somewhat evenly. Not always, but somewhat evenly in between there. You notice the words that I use there? You should probably. Doesn't mean you have to. Doesn't mean only way. I feel like in this day and age, people think that the way they do things is the only way you can do so. Which if you applied that logic to anything, it doesn't make sense. If I was a basketball player and I scored 20 points in a game, does that mean that I have to score with 10 2-pointers every single time? Or can I shoot 20 free throws? Or can I hit 6 threes in a layup? Take the 3 richest people in the world. Did they all do the exact same thing to make that much money? Or do they all do different stuff? The same rule applies to fitness. There are general rules of thumb that apply, but there's almost nothing that is, this is the way it is. This is the way you do it. When I was in college, there was a kid on my team who looked like, I'm talking his body. My man, well, just straight muscle on muscle. And when he got there, he was a freshman. People were like, hey, how much do you bench? He's like, I don't lift weights. What are you doing? My man do all push-ups, pull-ups, dips, calisthenics. Do you think that lifting weights is the only way that you can gain muscle? It's not. Do you think that lifting weights heavy is the only way that you can get bigger? Or vice versa? These are some of the things I hear all the time. I can only cut weight, excuse me, if I lift light weights a bunch of times. But watch a professional bodybuilder when they cut weight and see if they got, a 10-pound weight, they lift 562 times. That doesn't mean that you have to lift heavy weights all the time either. What it means is exactly what I was getting at in the first place. There's a million ways to do it. And what you gotta do with anything, any kind of success, any kind of, you gotta find the way that's best for you. That's being efficient. That's what I mean by being efficient. I just want to be more efficient. I want to find the best way to do everything that I do on a daily basis so I can get more done in a day without sacrificing the result. But to the best way for me. And that's something that I was just trying to work on. You know? So, I think everybody should do that with anything. Like, if you want something to be good, you gotta find the best way for you. That even includes like marriages and stuff. I feel like married couples do. That's why y'all, like, not all, but a lot of people can't stand like each other as spouses. When people get to a certain level, I don't care how successful you are. There's never a level where you should be like, okay, I'm good. That's how you end up back where you started. You know? People lose like 50 pounds and then they're like, okay, I'm cool now. And then they look up again, they're 25 pounds heavier than when they started. And they wonder why. You know? A lot of couples do that too. You stop doing the stuff that you did in the beginning of the relationship when it was popping. You feel like because you got them now, you know, you got whoever you with, like you're together. You stop doing that, you know. Men stop taking care of themselves, stop shaving, unless they were a person that had a beard in the first place. You get what I'm saying? Maybe you stop lining it up. You know. Think about when you first started hanging out with that person if you're with them. I can't even give them relationship advice, but think about how you were when you first started hanging out with the person that you're with, when it was new. Fellas, you probably took a shower, you put cologne on, right? Make sure the house was in place. A year later, your house is a mess. You ain't got no cologne on, you ain't even showered yet. If you kept doing that, you'll probably be happy as hell. You know? And I know a lot of people are guilty of that, you know? Like, especially in a relationship, bro. Like, when you're the woman, I can't give advice for men. Ladies, just same thing. Whatever you did in the beginning, just do that still. Obviously, things will change as you progress in a relationship. You get kids, and the kids become more of a priority, that's different. But still make time for each other, you know what I'm saying? Because eventually your kid's gonna grow up and it's gonna be y'all again. Y'all don't want to hate each other when it's an empty ass house, you know what I mean? That's probably the biggest thing that I've seen with couples that like are still together, you know, like people that are still in their 50s and stuff like that. Like, they're still best friends. They still do all that stuff that they used to do. When you stop doing that, like, you're screwed. You know? You feel like because they're not going to leave. But even if you don't leave, like, you still should be working on trying to make each other happy. You know? I talk to a lot of men now that are married. You know, my wife, she don't look at me the same. And I look them in the eye. Did you do some different shit? Nah. You didn't? You with me right now. When I first, this is true. When I first, and I'm not gonna out nobody, but I said, what you with me for then? True story. When they first started together, I ain't see this MF for like 2 years, bro. He's gone. I'm with my girl. And I can respect that. Because you ain't marrying me. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be with her for till death do y'all part. But now you're married and you wanna chill with me. What you doing? Go home, get that woman a kiss, and go watch some TV. What you doing out? You know? I think that you should always... This came up today, that's why I'm... Like, I think you should always... Like, even if you're married to your significant other, you've been together, like, you should still date that person. You know what I mean? You should still do that things you did when you went on a date. You know? Put on some decent clothes when they come over. Don't be wearing them raggedy-ass pajama pants. You know, shave, all that, but shave, you know, put on the smell good, light a damn candle, clean your house, please clean your house. Don't be inviting people over your junky ass house. I don't care if they're there, okay? Just because y'all farting from each other don't mean y'all can't still date. Because there was one point in time, even if you feel like it died, that's still there. Like, y'all still, like, you still gonna think that person's dope. And I know you do. And you'll be surprised that when you try to make yourself better, what your significant other will do at the same time. So don't do something because you want them to do it. But if you're with somebody, say I'm with somebody and I'm like all of a sudden like, yo, I'm trying to get into shape. And I'm not doing it for anybody but me. I'm not trying to do some reverse psychology. That's F-boy shit. Don't do that. But just because you want to be better. You'll be surprised that they look and they're like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that too. Then y'all grind together, you know what I'm saying? But don't do it because you're trying to do some reverse psychology stuff to you know, get them to do it. Like, that's asshole material. But at the end of the day, and if they get mad at you for trying to better yourself, you're probably ain't with the right person. Just keep it in the back. If I was dating somebody who's like, yo, I'm trying to become a millionaire, like, I'm gonna do something. Like, I'm gonna get there with them. I'm not just gonna be sitting there, unless it's like Kylie Jenner, but she don't count. Yeah. Damn, I finished all that. I ain't had no reviews today, bro. I'm a little annoyed by that, perturbed. I gotta find some more stuff. I'm enjoying doing the reviews, but I gotta find some more stuff. They didn't bring out the hype like they used to. Anyway, that was delicious. Tomorrow will be something from the series. I'm not sure what yet. It's on my board. Whatever comes next, comes next. But thank you guys again for rocking me. I know these are the real ones watching this, if you're watching at this point. So if you did, y'all know the vibes, and y'all know what I'm gonna say. Be back tomorrow. More content. I love y'all. Hand signs. They made it to YouTube.